Story number 2, it's a great story, it's a true story. I was in Virginia and I heard 2 sisters talk. One was a little older than the other one. Everybody thought they're twins. They looked like twins. And these 2 sisters were talking and they tell their story. And one sister married a man. Stay with me, I'll bring this full circle, I promise. One sister married a man. He did really well. They made a lot of money, lived in a big house, had a lot of nice things, had a great marriage. Her sister, a little younger, married a great man. They lived in a really small house. They didn't have much. They lived paycheck to paycheck. They struggled financially. And the older sister said to her younger sister one day, she said, true story, I heard it in Virginia. It was a great story. It was touching. I was crying. They said, sis, we know you struggle financially. And we don't want a stranger to come into our big house with all our collector item things and a stranger in it. Would you want to clean our house? And her younger sister said, oh, that would be a blessing. Could I do it? Could I? She said, yeah, we'll pay you really well. Come over every Thursday and clean the house. She was pumped. So every Thursday, she'd go into the house, she'd unlock the door, she'd go in, and she would start vacuuming all the rooms. And then after that, she would clean the toilets and the tubs and spray everything down. And at the end, she would always go into the living room. True story. I heard it in Virginia. Great story. Stay with me. Go into the living room, and right above the fireplace on the mantle were these $1,000 collector item vases. And she had her iPod in, okay, probably a Walkman, she didn't have a lot of money. And she was up there and she was doing, and a couple of the vases fell to the ground in just thousands of pieces. And she said, what am I going to do? True story. I don't have the money for these collector item vases. What am I going to do? And she began to sweep them up, and she took them to the side, and she put them in the waste bin in the closet, put some newspaper over, grabbed her stuff, left her sister's house. That night she pulls the covers up. Ooh, she's sick. Friday, ooh, she feels sick. Saturday, Sunday, I should call my sister and tell her, I know she knows by now. What am I going to do? We don't have the money. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Key in the door. Did you think that she went in to sweep? No. Did she clean the bathrooms? No. She went straight into the living room, and above the fireplace where those beautiful collector item vases once were was this beautiful mosaic. And she hears a voice, true story, heard it in Virginia, it was great, the 2 sisters telling it. And she hears a story, and it's the older sis. And she says, hey sis. She said, I went to take the waste out last week, and the bottom gave way. She said, I took all those broken pieces, and I made something beautiful. Question number 2. Are you making things in this life broken or beautiful? Because I know that you know, or maybe you have, broken pieces of your life at your home, at your church, at your school, in your families. And are you working to make those things broken or beautiful? Are you helping pick those pieces back up in those areas of your school, in your church, in your community? Or are you just helping make it worse and broken? And guys, by the way, you're going to have some leadership training this week that will help you learn how to do that, and I mean that. This is more than, hey, let's just get together and eat some food and all that. I mean, you're going to learn some great tools to take with you. Last story, and it's the most powerful one. It's also a true story. I have a friend named Sarah. She works as an NGO in Uganda, Uganda. And she works with the have and the have-not. She works with a tribe of people. And they are a civil war. And the haves of this tribe control all the natural resources, the hospitals, the markets. The have-nots have to travel about 3 miles, and the river is the crossing point. And they get to go in this area for about 2 hours a day to shop and do all their different things. And she works as a nurse with the have-nots. And she says one night, there was a 3-year-old girl, and I'll never forget this story. She told it to me face to face, named Nimba. And she said Nimba was coughing and crying. I took her temperature. I went and checked on her. Her breathing became faint. Her pulse became faint. I knew she needed a doctor. She said, I scooped her up in one hand, and I basically sprinted to the water. And she said, I got to the water. She said, the lights, poof, poof, came on, and the guns came out. And they said, do not cross. If you cross, you will be shot. And she said, no, 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 no. This baby needs attention. I've got to cross. And they said, do not cross. You will be shot. And she looked at me, Sarah looked at me, she said, Dustin. She said, I had Nimba in one hand. She said, I put my other hand in the air. She said, I sang an old hymn. She said, I could feel the water against my toes. She said, I took one step in front of the other. She said, I relied on my foundation. She said, and they did not shoot. And friends, I'm asking you, and I'm telling you, I don't know if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an astronaut or a barber. I don't know if any of that will come true, but I promise each and every one of you, there's going to be a time where you're going to stand at the edge of the shore, my friends, and that water's going to start hitting your toes. And you're going to have to rely on something called your foundation or your faith. So I ask you today, do you have a foundation? Do you have a faith? Because if you do, you're going to be able to put that one foot in front of the other and say, yeah, I know what I'm about. I know me. And this week will help you with that. I wish you nothing but the best, and I always leave my audiences with one action. Okay, I want you to do one action this week, maybe two. I want you to say please and thank you. Ooh, powerful stuff. When you go through the lunch line, when you see your counselors, when you see some of these guys in the yellow shirts, when you see some of the Legion guys, say please and thank you for what they've done. And I'll challenge you further. Next time you're in an airport or you're at a restaurant and you see somebody in uniform that served this country, I dare you to go shake their hand and say, hey, listen, thank you for what you do. Maybe I feel a little pious saying this, but thank you for what you do. I think you'll like to remember. Blessings to you. Have a great week at Boys State.
Dustin, Mr. Galyon, would you come back up here, please? Man, he's got a little bit of energy, doesn't he? I'm worn out listening to him.
I'm sweating like a dog. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks.
Hey, I told you that those who've been here at Boys State before know that when we have guest speakers and dignitaries and things like that, we do like to give them a memento to remember their time at Boys State. And those who've been here before, on the count of three, can you tell me what it is? 1, 2, 3. Clock. Guess what we have for Dustin? A clock that says the American Legion Boys State of Kansas to remember his time at Boys State. And also, he was, as I stated earlier, he was a stater in 2001. And I don't want any parents involved with this or siblings. You advisors, sit back. You're not involved. Counselors, please don't be involved with this. This is only for people who are staters of the 2009 session of the American Legion Boys State. By a round of applause, is it okay by you, with your approval, we will make Dustin Galyon an honorary stater of 2009.